The old man lay in bed, his breaths shallow, each one a struggle. His heart thumped a ragged rhythm, a drumbeat of fear echoing in his ears. The shadows in the room deepened, mirroring the darkness that had settled over his soul. He was dying, and the weight of a lifetime's sins pressed down on him, heavy and suffocating. Years of greed, of selfishness, of indifference to the suffering of others now rose up to accuse him. He squeezed his eyes shut, a tear escaping down his wrinkled cheek. Was there no escape from the consequences of his actions? A warmth spread through the room, a gentle light pushing back the shadows. The old man opened his eyes, his gaze drawn to the foot of his bed. There, bathed in a soft glow, stood a figure of impossible beauty. Her wings, tipped with feathers that shimmered like pearls, unfolded, filling the room with a sense of peace he had never known. "Do not be afraid," she whispered, her voice like the chiming of distant bells. "I am here to guide you." He tried to speak, to beg forgiveness, but his voice failed him. She smiled, a knowing sadness in her eyes. "I know your heart," she said. "Let us look back on your life together." Images flickered past his mind's eye. Moments of cruelty, of indifference, of missed opportunities for kindness. The angel watched, her expression compassionate, yet unwavering. Just when the darkness threatened to overwhelm him, a memory surfaced, small and insignificant in the grand scheme of his life. He saw himself as a young boy, no more than 7, offering a piece of bread to a beggar woman huddled in an alleyway. The woman, her face etched with hunger and despair, had looked at him with such gratitude, such unexpected grace, that it had stayed with him, a tiny spark in the vast emptiness of his life. "Do you remember this?" the angel asked softly, her voice filled with tenderness. He nodded, tears flowing freely now, but these were tears of a different kind. Tears of regret, yes, but also of a strange, unfamiliar hope. "That single act of kindness," the angel said, "that moment of compassion for another soul, has redeemed you." The weight that had been crushing him lifted, replaced by a sense of peace he had never imagined possible. He closed his eyes, no longer afraid, and breathed his last, a small smile playing on his lips. As the angel prepared to lead him towards the light, a throng of shadowy figures emerged from the darkness. They reached out with grasping hands, their voices hoarse with pleading. "Take us with you," they cried. "Share your salvation." The old man, confused at first, looked to the angel for guidance. She merely observed, her expression unreadable. He looked back at the desperate souls, their faces twisted in agony. A flicker of fear ran through him. Could he risk his own salvation by trying to save them too? In his hand, he felt the familiar weight of a small object. It was a piece of bread shimmering with a soft light. This, he understood, was his redemption, his passport to paradise. He clutched it tightly to his chest, his fear growing with each passing moment. "Please," he whispered, his voice trembling, "I can only save myself." As he spoke, the bread crumbled in his grasp, the light fading until only dust remained. He looked up at the angel, his face a mask of despair. She gazed down at him, her eyes filled with a profound sadness. "It is in giving that we receive," she said softly. "The true measure of a soul is not in its sins, but in its capacity for selflessness." And with that, the light faded, leaving the old man alone in the darkness, the echoes of lost souls swirling around him.